Okay, folks. Well, this is going to be an unofficial entry into my guide to being a guild officer. And those have always been popular videos with officers and guild leaders. Except, of course, when I tell people to leave their guilds in search of greener pastures. But the reality is sometimes things like that need to be said. And I am going to straight up at the jump here, just kind of tell you guys right off the bat that I do not think that what I have to say tonight is going to be very popular with people, but it is something that needs to be said. I am not somebody for clickbait. So before we hit that intro, the basic premise here is that I very much and very firmly believe that about 20 to 25% of end game guilds need to really do the community and themselves and their own guild community a favor and realize that it is time to call it quits and fold to allow other guilds and other end game guilds to flourish. And I'll explain that right after this. Now, it's no secret that we have seen a really big bout of veteran fatigue since the release of the Era system. And we definitely do have a lot of new players and a lot of new money coming into the game. And that's really great for the health of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. But the reality is that a lot of people who have been playing 8, 9, 10 years are starting to see cracks and say, hey, you know what? I really want to step away. And we're seeing a ton of that happening right now. My very own co-host on Zeta Protocol, Pico Burrito, stepped away not too long ago. My designer, Moonborn, stepped away not too long ago. And if I'm really honest, in the last 4 to 6 weeks, I have seen 10 people from my guild step away from the guild, with almost every single one of them being somebody that just wanted to call it quits because they were now frustrated with the era system and the game systems and just the time management of the game in general. So the idea here, and I was thinking about this today, was when is your guild still the guild that you joined 7 years ago, right? Or the concept of the guild of Theseus. With each person that I replace, is my guild still what it was, or is it a completely different dynamic, right? If I think back to where Awakened Mandalorians was not even a year ago, I could say that a very large majority of those players are people that I have played this game with for 3, 4, even 5 years. But now I look at those people and they are really good people. And I've met a lot of them through my own Discord community in Slice of Otagunga. And I realize that a lot of these people have cycled in very, very recently. And I'm super excited and lucky to be in a position where it is very easy for me to recruit because of my status in the community and because people understand what I stand for as an efficient player. But I also recognize that there are a lot of guild recruiters who do not have that same platform. And I am going to tell you that I am so tired right now. It is so frustrating to get your guild back up to 50 players and then get a message saying, hey, by the way, I'm going to give you a week, but I really want to step away from the game. And the realization that I came to today is that while I am in this position where it is much easier for me to recruit, every single time I take in a recruit, I am taking that recruit from another guild. And the reality is that there are a lot of guilds just hanging on right now. And they're hanging on the very basis of, well, we've played together for the last 5 or 6 years and we just kind of want to keep playing together. And that is great. I support casual gameplay and I support casual guilds. But I also understand that within those guilds, there are a core group of players that want to be set free, that want the permission to move on. And I know that for a fact because in all of my recruiting over the last month, the majority of the players who have reached out to me to move into my guild are former guild officers and are former guild leaders who felt so very guilty for stepping away from a group of players, even though those group of players no longer represented the things that they stand for. And I have in my waiting list other players who are on the precipice of that and they are saying, "Hey man, I really want to join you, but I just cannot leave these guys hanging right now. And I really, really just am waiting for this guild to crash and burn. But I am so down to play with you right afterwards." And it got me realizing at this point that a lot of guilds at the end game don't need to exist. And a lot of guild officers and a lot of guild leaders just kind of want power and they just kind of want to coast and get things for free and do the lowest common denominator thing in order to advance their account and say that they've done something in this game. And they bring a lot of players along for that ride. And if they are not actively pursuing the goals of the guild, they are really doing a disservice to the other players in that guild with them. So I'm going to address my guild leaders and guild officers first. Over the next week, talk to the rest of your officers and see where you are and where you want to be. Talk honestly about it and say, "Hey, do we really want to even do this anymore? Is our community, is our Discord thriving? Is our community a joyful one? Are we actually helping our guild members to advance in the game in the way that we promised that we would help them advance? Or would opening up 50 more slots to 50 other guilds benefit us as players more, as well as the community at large?" Being a guild officer is a thankless job for those of us who do take it seriously. It is a tiring job. It is a very time consuming job. Is that something that you want to continue doing? And I've been very open about this. This is something that if I were to move on from my guild at any one point, I would never be a guild officer again because I understand that workload. So instead of sparking joy, are you actually creating value for your guild members, or are there members in your guild who would be better off somewhere else? To my guild members, once again, I am giving you permission to leave your guild and walk away from those communities. If you have friends in a guild, they will continue to be your friends. And if they won't continue to be your friends, then those people were never your friends to begin with. What you do in game is single player. You play missions on your own. You do conquest on your own. Even TW battles you do on your own. You still have that avenue, Discord, to communicate with those friends. I have people in my guild who, they jumped from another guild and they were still in their old guild Discord. And now they've jumped from my guild and they're still in my guild Discord because they've made friends and they just want to communicate and chat and hang out and talk to those people. And it's fine because no hard feelings. I've also had people join my guild and say, "Hey, man, these people that I've been playing the game with for 3 years, they're so mad at me for wanting to do better by my account that none of them talk to me anymore." And quite honestly, I don't want that kind of person in my life who is going to turn their back on me because of a video game. Just before filming this, I was talking to a different guild leader who was a little bit upset that I was, talking to people in his guild about moving. And After about 5 minutes of talking, the two of us came to the consensus that recruiting is really hard right now, and we both actually do the same exact thing, and neither of us really wants people in our guild that don't want to be there. Um, and so we wish that person well, in moving on, and just like I'm wishing people well that choose to move on from my guild. Um, I highly recommend that you guild members send this to your officers and send this to your leaders and just say, "Hey, I'm here. I want to be part of this guild, but I want you to watch this video and I want you to ask yourself and ask the rest of the team, are you helping me? Are you creating value for me as a player? Are you doing what is best for this overall community?" And by overall community, I mean the guild community. Because once a guild folds, again, you can keep that guild Discord up if people want to continue communicating. But I will tell you that you probably will stop communicating because your friendship was really just based on the fact that you were kind of in proximity, just like when you guys were in school. Right now, recruiting is so very tough for all of us, and it sucks. The pool of recruits is so very small for what a guild at the end game needs. And if 20% of guilds who right now are underperforming or being lazy or coasting by and saying, don't worry, we're just gonna play at our own level. Not retirement guilds. Retirement guilds are different. Not guilds that are stated as, hey, we are casual on purpose. Those are different. But guilds that call themselves casual competitive or call themselves competitive and they lie to their members and say, hey, we're working on this thing, but they're not actually working on anything. Are you benefiting the community more by folding that guild and allowing everybody to find a grouping that is better for them overall? This goes back to that guild of Theseus idea from the beginning of this video, right? Guilds are going to evolve and guilds are going to change, and they may never be the guild that they were in the past. And the guild may change names, right? You may move with 5 people to a different guild, and those 5 people are the only 5 people that you talked to in your old guild, and now you're in this secondary guild. Your community has stayed the same, but you're in a different guild, and it's okay. I'm giving you permission to fold your guild, and I'm giving you permission to leave your guild, and I'm giving you permission to find happiness in the game because the game is a game, right? We take it seriously. We do diplomacy. We talk on Discord. We say mean things to each other sometimes. It is what it is. But the reality is that it is a game. We're a bunch of adults playing a game, and we should enjoy our time playing that game. And we should not settle on the laurels of valor, on the laurels of, well, I owe them because they took me in 3 years ago. We should settle on the laurels of being respectful, but also doing what's right for us. Because right now, with the game in the state that it is, and right now with the veteran community in the state that it is right now, the only way for a lot of us to continue to advance is if people start moving on and finding better fits for themselves. I happen to know of alliances and different guilds who are talking about shuttering guilds. And I happen to know of people in guilds who are like, hey, we're just going to start another guild with blackjacks and hookers. And to what end? So, for the final time tonight, players, after you watch this video, turn off your computer for a second, turn off your phone, and take 5 minutes. That's it. Just 5 minutes. Don't close your eyes, but just in a quiet room and ask yourself, how is your guild benefiting you? And how are you benefiting from your guild? And how are you helping your guild? And is it in everybody's best interest for you to remain there? Because if 3 or 4 people leave a guild to find something that's better for them, the rest of that guild is going to do a very similar thing, and they are going to be much, much, much happier when they are in a community and a group that is more active and is pushing. Though I want to stress as my final thought here again, I am not talking about retirement guilds. That is different. I'm not talking about stated casual guilds where people say, hey, man, we're just here to chill and do what we can do. And as long as everybody is cool with that, then we're cool with that. Those are different. I'm very, very specifically talking about those guilds that say, hey, we are pushing when they're really not. Those guilds that say, hey, this is our goal, and we're really not accomplishing that goal. And I understand that some of you are going to be mad at me for saying these things, but it's what needs to be said. It's what we need to hear right now. It's what we need to advance because the reality is that guilds in the end game, they need players at 13.5 to 15 million and above in order to succeed and to advance in the game. And the reality is that even though there are not a lot of new players and a lot of new money in this game right now, those players cannot advance fast enough. There are not enough Zetas or Omicrons or Lightspeed bundles. Those things can get them to 12 million to 13 million, but they can't get them the mods or the Zetas unless you are spending metric fuck tons of money. And I do happen to know a small amount of those players, but it is not the reality for most people. So, as a final thing, I will say once again, guild leaders, I am giving you permission to respectfully fold your guild and tell people to move on. And guild officers and guild members, I am giving you permission to walk away to find something that is right for you. Peace out. Have a great rest of your night.